Hello, Aries. Welcome to your spiritual revolution guidance reading for the month of Virgo. Okay, so we are moving into the month of Virgo. It's from August 22nd until September 22nd. And there are a couple pretty big, hard-hitting days during this month. So, as you know, or maybe you don't know, but we are in the middle of the eclipse season as I'm filming this. And the solar eclipse has happened. But on August 27th, we will have the lunar eclipse. And so this is a full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces. And we have a lot going on during this lunar eclipse. So the moon will be with the north node, and then we have the sun with the south node, and also Mercury. Mercury and the sun are going to be exactly conjunct during this eclipse and full moon. And then we also have the moon and the sun both squaring, creating a T-square to Uranus. And Uranus is the planet of unpredictability, of revolution, of change, of disruption. And with this lunar eclipse, it really feels like to me that the theme is expect the unexpected, and really to expect the unexpected when it comes to your future, to your destiny, because we have the north node, which is our destiny, with the moon during this lunar eclipse. And I think, eclipses are all about clearing out the old, bringing in clarity for what we want, to move forward with, what we want to bring forward in our lives, in our path, in our journey. And the north node with the moon is about our destiny, of course, and that's really what this full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces is all about. It's about our destiny, and in particular our spiritual destiny. Where are we going next in our spiritual journey? And I think it's going to be a surprise for a lot of people. It's probably not what we may have expected. So let's see. And then on September 10th, we have our new moon in Virgo. And this new moon is also taking place as Uranus is stationing retrograde. So again, this whole unpredictable energy along with our new moon. And new moons are about manifestation and, really planting the seeds for what we want to achieve in the next 6 months. But with Uranus retrograding, it's kind of like, more reflection about the changes that have happened, because this has been a wild month. Leo with the eclipse and with this lunar eclipse coming up, it's, I don't think it's going to slow down anytime soon. And so we really need to, I think, embrace unpredictability and use that energy in this month. And then finally on September 17th, I want to mention that Chiron will be moving. So Chiron has been retrograde. Sorry, just had like a little moment there, eclipse moment. Chiron has been retrograde at 0 degrees Taurus for the past while, but on the 17th of September is going to be moving into your sign, Aries. So Chiron was in Aries for a while. Chiron is the wounded healer. It is our deepest soul wound, and will be moving back into Aries, and will be there for the next a while, okay, until about April. And while it is there, it's asking us who we are, to really make sure that we are living our truth and clear on our identity and any wounds that we have about, our self and how we present ourselves. And all of that is going to be revisited to make sure that we can clear that up. And so that's going to be interesting, especially for you, Aries, since it's, back in your sign. You could be feeling that pretty hard. And so for the month of Virgo, your overarching energy is action, which I know you love to hear. You are the sign of action. And it's time to embrace movement, perseverance, discipline, motivation. And this is also the root chakra. So, Aries, this is asking you to connect with your root, with your motivation, what is driving you right now, and what is moving you forward. I feel like once we experience this lunar eclipse and some clarity comes through around what that next step looks like, you are going to be ready, prepared to start really moving forward. Like, this is the clarity that you have been waiting for. It feels like there's been a lot of, with Saturn and Neptune in your sign, retrograding and bringing lots of lessons and challenges. It's been kind of like, you've been feeling pulled here and there and really not sure which way to go. But it feels like in this month in Virgo, that clarity is coming through and you're going to know where to go, and you are being called to take action. The other overarching energy that you have for the month of Virgo is optimism. Love it. Moon in Sagittarius. So that's another fiery energy. So far, I'm feeling a lot of fire for you. And, you are cardinal fire. You are the first fire sign of the zodiac. You are the spark of creation. So it really feels like this is going to be like, you're going to feel really energized. And because if you've been feeling exhausted, these eclipses have been rough. But yeah, there's a lot of optimism that you are being called to embrace. And I'm just looking at, these three figures on the bottom who are having a party, and they're really excited about the future. They're celebrating. And I think that there's going to be a lot for you to celebrate this month. So Aries, let's dive into it and see what the messages are for you. And if you have been brought to this reading, that is because you are aware that humanity is in a spiritual war, and you are being called to be a part of that spiritual revolution, and your guides have some messages for you. So this is a general reading. Take what resonates, drop the rest for someone else, but let's see what's really coming through for you, Aries, for this month of Virgo. Okay, I've been told to stop with that, and let's pull it through. Let's see what we have. Like this, and then like this. Okay, so the energy that you're bringing into this month is the Page of Pentacles. Okay, so the Page of Pentacles is, this is like a new start where you have, and it's actually very optimistic as well. I just caught that card out of the corner of my eye. And so the Page of Pentacles is where, okay, perhaps you have started a new job. Perhaps you have started a new project, a side hustle. You've been pulled into a new like division of your company. I don't know. This isn't a career reading, but a lot of career stuff is coming up right now. Likely because this is Pentacles, and Pentacles is the coins, is the money, but it really, that feels very significant. So I'm like tapping into a certain energy to someone who's watching this, and it's something that you have some experience in, but is new, and definitely new to you, but you're like really excited about this opportunity. And it's going to be very lucrative for you. There's more money involved, whether that's a bonus structure or something like that. I don't know. But and if it's like a side hustle, if it's a project, if it's something like that, like this is something that's going to be like just extra money. This is like, yeah. No wonder I'm looking at this optimism card, because it feels very abundant. It feels like a very easy kind of energy for you. Like you're not going to struggle a lot with this new opportunity, and that's very cool. But I'm going to disconnect from that energy for a second here, and I'm going to see what else this is bringing up, because like I said, this is a general reading. It's not a one-on-one. And okay, so if it's not around your career, this is like you're embarking on a new phase of your life journey, your life path. And what this feels like is there was a challenge recently, like a pretty big challenge, and you have overcome that. And you are now at this point where you're like, okay, actually that wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. And you're like, I can take on this next part of my path. Like basically you not that I want to say that you've defeated a dragon in your path, but that's kind of what it feels like. There was this really big challenge, and that could be a conflict in your family. This can be something with friends. It could also still be career. It could be relationship. Like there was something that was very challenging, and now you having overcome that, and you're like, you know what, that wasn't that hard. It was. I have the skills to do that. Now I can take on anything, and you can see where the lesson came and where you are being pulled down into the next part. Not pulled down, but like pulled down the next part of your journey. Like someone is holding your hand. Like it feels like you're not doing this alone. And yeah, and you have reason to be optimistic. Like it's going to be okay. In fact, it's going to be really good. And so during this month of Virgo, we have the Six of Cups. And the Six of Cups this is emotional return to good times. This is, you could even be like, if the challenge was in your relationship, for example, then you now have like this renewed sense of like falling in love again type of thing, where you're like, oh, I remember what it was like at the beginning of our relationship, or I remember what it was like when we were first dating, and you've kind of returned to that energy. And that could be the same in a career, where you're like, oh, I remember how fun it was when I first started this job or this business, and you're back at that kind of energy. Like this is a renewed sense of joy and like really heartfelt optimism. Yeah, it comes back to that word optimism. And now you're ready to share that. You're ready to take action, move forward with to really what's coming next. And if you are connecting to that energy that where you have a new job, you have a new project, that kind of thing, the side hustle, then you're really like invigorated about it. It's bringing you the sense of enthusiasm that you haven't felt in a really long time, and it's giving you this like emotional push to really be creative and to do your soul's work, and it feels really good. Like you're sharing your gifts, you're sharing this enthusiasm with the people around you. Perhaps you're building a team, or you're working with a new team, and it's there's a lot to celebrate, to be really excited about. And you're going to feel that throughout this month of Virgo. I think in particular with this new moon, when it's time to plan for the next 6 months. And it's September, it's back to work, it's Virgo season. And I think, yeah, I just think that that's going to feel really, really good, really exciting and fulfilling for you. Fulfilling is, yes, a definite word that I want to put in there. And the energy that is towards the end of Virgo season that you're going to be feeling there, we have two cards. So I'll go into the first one here, which is the World. And this is really about completion. Like you have achieved something major, and that it feels really good. Like you have reached your goal. You have made it to the end. And so whether this is a project, whether this is something that you have changed in your relationship, like you're starting, it kind of feels like you've started over, then it feels like this sense of completion, like, oh yeah, I did it. And it feels really good, and that you can take on anything, and knowing that you have everything that you need. There's this real sense of, yeah, fulfillment just keeps coming through. So that is going to carry on towards the end of Virgo season as well. And but you also have this energy of the Five of Cups. Okay. And this is interesting because you have the Six of Cups, and the Six of Cups obviously comes after the Five of Cups, but it feels like there's a return to this Five of Cups energy, which is kind of moving backwards in the tarot. And the Five of Cups, as you can see, like there's a party, there's a celebration, going on. There's balloons and a party table being set up. But then the character is actually focusing on these three cups that have spilled over, and is sort of looking at like the negative rather than the positive or the whole picture. And what's coming through to me is because there's so much optimism, action, this new journey, and this sharing of your gifts and the success. Sometimes we can be too hard on ourselves. And what's coming through is, Aries, that towards the end of Virgo, you might be looking back on the month and thinking like, ooh, I really kind of dropped the ball there. Or, you made a little mistake. Like you're starting this new job, and you may have made a mistake, something that was in the training, but you didn't pick up, or, something that with the system, there was like an error that you didn't catch, things like that. Or if it's with your relationship, perhaps you fell into a behavior or a cycle that you thought that you had gotten rid of, or there was like a shadow that came up and you reacted poorly. And there is a tendency to kind of focus on the negative and to be really critical and hard on yourself, especially during Virgo season, because Virgo is it is kind of a critical energy, and you could get wrapped up in that. And the lesson here is to say that, yeah, everything is going really well for you. And yes, that doesn't mean that, mistakes aren't going to happen, or regrets can come up, or you can think about things like, if you've released something from your life through this eclipse, you can think about like, oh, I miss that person, whether it's a person or an activity or something. And that there can be some regret. But the message here is really not to get so caught up in that, and don't focus so much on the negative. Like if you made a mistake, cool, address it, acknowledge it, and move on. Not a big deal. It's not going to be a big deal. There's so much positive energy here. There's so much positivity in your reading that I think, any little mistakes, or maybe even a big mistake, nothing is permanent, and everything happens for a reason. And there's a lot of good to still focus on. And I'm not saying, to like, just ignore any negative things that happen. Of course, we need to be real with ourselves, and like I said, acknowledge it, but also really focus on all the good things that are happening. Like, don't let it get you down. And let's get a final message here for you, Aries, for this month of Virgo. See what's coming through. Okay. So we have believe in the impossible. So we have a blue moon here. So a blue moon is the second full moon in a month. It happens rarely, once in a blue moon. And you're being told, believe in the impossible. And that's making me think again of all this Uranus energy, and expect the unexpected, and really like embracing the idea that we don't have to control everything in our lives. And if you can dream it, if you can envision it, it can happen. Like what you have in your head, you can have in your hand, like that kind of idea, and believe in the impossible. And I think this is really talking about like talking to the, like, don't cry over spilled milk. Like, don't focus too hard on your mistakes and thinking that that's going to ruin your chances of joy, of success, of fulfillment. Believe in the impossible. You can do it. You are doing it. You are ready to move forward, to share your gifts, to really take this next phase, this next chapter of your life head on. You've already gone through a major challenge, and now you can really tackle anything. Believe in the impossible. You got this. Okay. So I'm going to leave it there. And like I said, this is a general reading. So if you want to go deeper, I'll drop the links below and you can book a personal reading with me. And I just wish you the best for this Virgo season, sending you all of the blessings. And thank you so much for being here with me this month. And I'll see you in the next one.